Hello and welcome to my channel Close to the Edge, where we talk about all things prog rock, classic rock, heavy rock, and maybe, as Paul would say, sticker rock.
Yeah, I stole that off
Never
a child. I stole that off a child in Dublin for you.
So you never know. You never know. Today we're doing something fantastic, actually, and this came up by accident from Paul, because I text Paul about the covers of the albums, and he thought I meant cover songs, didn't you, Paul?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
and I said that's a brilliant idea.
Good idea, yeah.
So it's 10 of our favorite cover songs by some of our favorite artists.
Grand. No worries. Sounds like a good one.
It's a good one, Paul. Yeah.
There we go.
Good. Kevin, do you want to kick it off?
All right, I will then.
Number 10. I keep count.
I know you'll keep me
I'll
on
keep
track.
count.
I know that. Yeah.
He's
Number 10
he's not
for
far
me.
behind you.
Blue Oyster Cult. Some Enchanted Evening album.
Oh yeah.
There's a track on here. It's a cover version of MC5. Kick Out the Jams.
Oh, it's a brilliant track.
And it's a great cover version.
It is a great track.
So, Blue Oyster Cult.
I never heard that version actually.
1978.
You never heard that,
Excellent.
Paul? No.
I know the original, but I wouldn't know that one.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
a brilliant
Great,
version. It's kind
great
of
cover.
rocked up a bit, you know.
Yeah, Jesus.
So that's fine. Number 10 to kick things off.
That's a brilliant number 10, Kevin.
No
Brilliant.
worries.
Paul, yourself.
Right, I'm going to do this in no particular order, right? As well. This is the front cover of a single by Iron Maiden, and it's
Yeah.
Sanctuary. And on the back, they had a live track, which is a cover of a Montrose song called "I've Got the Fire." It's
Oh, yeah.
absolutely brilliant. I bought that single in 1980, right? And I thought it was an original, but it's actually a Montrose song. And then last year I was in Dublin and I found this, which is a Greek pressing of a Japanese live album of Iron Maiden, right? And what they did was they collected all the live B-sides on this onto an album, or all the different singles. So it's available on that. In fact, the single will be really hard to get, but I've Got the Fire by Iron Maiden, but it's a Montrose song. Brilliant song.
Good version of it, Paul. Yeah.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Good stuff.
Okay.
And it's the early Iron Maiden. It's nice and raw, you know.
Yeah. And who's singing on that, Paul?
Paul Di'Anno, the original
Paul
singer.
Di'Anno. Yeah, I think he was a better vocalist, was he, Paul?
Technically not as good as the other fella, but more energy, more kind of
More energy. I always found that, yeah. Anyway, that's brilliant, Paul. Your number 10. My number 10 is a track called Whipping Post by the Allman Brothers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, one of my least favorite bands. But Frank Zappa does a brilliant version on the album Demos from
Yeah,
1984.
you played it for me, yeah.
Did we not see that? You showed us a
Yes,
video.
remember on video? Remember we saw it at the concert?
Yeah.
Absolutely a brilliant version, Paul.
Yeah.
Great.
You know, and it's a little bit different, you know. Than
I
the
think
old-
he's
The Allman Brothers one.
Oh, I prefer Frank Zappa's.
Oh, yeah.
well, I think he's taking the wee, as we might say. He's taking the piss, I think.
He
With
can. He can.
It feels a bit like he's making fun of the idea that they play lots of solos and all that, you know.
Yeah.
But that's an old blues song. That's not an Allman Brothers song. They covered it as well. I think it goes way back.
Well, it was on their debut album in 1969.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
they're the one. I think they made it famous. I think it was even
The live album made it famous, didn't it? 20
That's
minutes
right.
long.
Yes.
Yeah, but that is a
Brilliant
good
song.
version too now, I have to say.
Yeah.
It's a
Anyway, that's my
great
number 10.
song. Cool.
Very good, Pat. I knew you'd fit him in there somewhere.
To fit him in, sure.
All right. Number 9. The Cult.
What's great? album.
Electric album from 87. I stand corrected. Yeah. And Born to be Wild is the track.
Brilliant.
Oh,
Oh,
on here.
brilliant.
The old Steppenwolf
Yeah.
number. Yeah.
Deadly.
And it's a great version. It's completely different. It's slowed down, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of raw as well. It's chuggy.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
I think
the old one, the original is great as well, but they just
It
took
is.
it in. It was like they kind of decided to just wear the guitars about 3 inches lower down.
Yeah,
It sounds like that. you
Yeah,
know?
So I think that's a really good cover.
It
Oh,
is
it
a good
is
cover.
brilliant, yeah.
It's not exactly the same as which I like
No.
when a band does a cover.
Yeah, and make it their own.
Make it their own. And
So-
actually, if you want a bit of a laugh, actually, I'm on video somewhere singing that at karaoke.
Oh my
That
God.
has to be felt. We'll have to put that up on this channel.
Jesus.
Yes, at a karaoke.
Yeah, right.
And it was the only one he had that was near, you
Yeah.
know. There you go. Don't think people would like to see that, Paul.
You never know. I would.
That's my 9 anyway.
All right. So you want me to pick one, is it? Now.
Yeah, Paul, you
Yeah.
go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. So the Black Crow is hard to handle.
Yeah, brilliant.
This is a classic cover. When that came out, it got kind of slagged off, but it brought back in a weird way. Nirvana were doing the grungy thing. and all that other kind of 80s hair metal. These lads brought back, they kind of brought back kind of rock and roll. That the Cult did it just before them, and then they sort of brought back a bit of swagger. And I was watching a video there the other day. I was saying it to Mick, the guitarist of the Four Towns, who's been on with you, that I was listening to a video of the guy who was the engineer on this, Brendan O'Brien. He went on to be a big time producer. He actually plays the solo on that song because the guitarist had gone home to Nashville. There was nobody in there. And it was the singer said, "You play, don't you?" "Yeah, go up there and play that." He said, "You have to get it done." Come on.
Hey, fair enough.
Who was that song originally by, Paul?
It's Otis Redding.
Otis Redding track. Okay.
An old soul
That's
song.
a great album. That is a great album. That's an album I don't have, actually.
That's a brilliant album.
Thanks for that, Paul. My number 9, Paul, is we number 8 or number 9?
Number 9.
Oh, it's your number 9. Sorry, Jason.
Your number 9.
The list.
Yeah. My number 9.
I keep you on the straight and narrow. Don't worry.
Can I just say, before anybody says that, this is what it's like when we sit together. Nobody gets a word in. Everybody gets a word in.
It's been like that since
1968, maybe.
Yeah.
19 Splash. Anyway, this one is
Gary Moore's.
Shape of Things.
Oh yeah,
By the
1983. Yeah.
Which was released originally in '66, I believe.
Yeah.
And this is obviously a roaring guitar special, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a brilliant track.
Yeah.
I remember you bought this album when it came out.
I do, yeah.
It was 84, was it, Paul?
83 or 4? 84,
84,
I think.
84.
I love this version because the guitar solo in the middle of it is just
Gary Moore.
It's just incredible.
That's a great album by him, in fairness, now.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
It's probably one of his best, Paul.
Yeah, I think so.
But that version of Shape of Things is brilliant.
Brilliant.
Anyway, that is my
number 8.
Number 9.
It's your number 8.
This is my number 8. Isn't it, Pat?
I think so. Yeah, completely, because I actually jumped one there a minute.
Status Quo. The live version, rocking all over the world.
Oh yeah, brilliant.
I mean, they made that their own, really, didn't they?
They did.
But that particular album, if you never like Status Quo, that's the album to listen to, because that's a fantastic live album.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, that's one of the best.
Glasgow in '76, I think.
And rocking all over the world. Whose track is that?
That's John Fogerty.
Oh, John Fogerty.
Yeah. CCR.
It's on. It was on an album he did, I think, called the Blue Ridge Mountains. It's after he left Creedence. It's on a solo. It's like a country song. It's a bit rocky, but it's not like they took it and really.
They really owned it, don't they?
They did. I mean,
I didn't know it was a cover.
Well, a lot of people would think that was the Status Quo track.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
would.
Yeah, but so there you go. That's why I picked it out.
It has that old beat on it, doesn't it?
Yeah. So
very good.
There you go. That's my number 8.
Number 8, and your number 8, Paul.
No, my number 8 is a bit unusual. It's the Sisters of Mercy. This is a 12-inch. These are really rare 12 inches. I have them all. I used to love these back in the 80s, and it's kind of goth rock. I don't know what you call it, but it wasn't really heavy. But they didn't have a drummer. They had a drum machine. Blah blah blah. They had kind of cool guitars, and they do a brilliant cover of a Stooges song called 1969 off their first album.
All right.
They do it in a way, I don't want to say it's electronic, but there's a drum machine banging away in the back, and the lads are just tearing the guitars apart. So it's an unusual cover in that I just like it, because I was looking for something that wouldn't be always in our sphere, the stuff we normally like. So that one I would put on a lot, and I don't think you can get it on any album. I think it's just
perfectly honest.
So I wouldn't know it either.
No, I remember at the time, I just discovered them and I liked them. They were kind of odd. Your man's voice is really low, but what they do with it is just interesting. So the Stooges, 1969 by Sisters of Mercy.
Great, good pick.
Brilliant. And that's a long time before they got really famous. Remember, they got the big hits then about 90.
Oh yeah.
They had Dominion. They had that girl playing with them. This is when they were a bunch of just 3 lads in Birmingham, I think, or Leeds or somewhere in a shed.
Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't be familiar at all with
No, I'd taken his word for it, because I wouldn't want about them.
Right, my number 8 is from the greatest, as I call him, as you know, from this album, made in Japan.
Oh,
it's Blue Seal.
Oh,
Little Richard track.
Oh,
Not sure if he actually wrote it, Paul.
I don't know.
1959 actually was the original song when it was released. Probably written by.
It's probably written by him. He wrote a fair few of his own songs.
Yeah.
But I was reading about this today, but Purple used to play this a lot during the early 70s, and they used to kind of close off their concerts with this.
Yeah.
Lucille, and it's a brilliant,
Great.
brilliant rock and roll track, isn't it?
And it's included on that because it's the 25th anniversary.
25th. It's not on
With
the
extra
original.
couple of
Not on
tracks.
the original one.
No,
Oh yeah,
no.
that's right. I have the original, so I've never heard that then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's on that. What's the extra track? Black Knight.
Black Knight and Lucille are on that.
Yeah.
But you know, like in Speed King, they kind of use the idea of it, don't they?
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
But it's
you
Good
can-
Golly, Miss Molly they use, I think, more.
Yeah.
You can hear it all right, yeah. But that's a brilliant,
Yeah.
brilliant closer to a
Great.
concert. Anyway, that's the great Deep Purple.
Right. Number 7, we're up to. Right. This album came out in 1978. Stranglers.
Actually, look at that. Look
Black and white.
at that.
White label promo.
Japanese.
Japanese one. And the first few editions of this album had a freebie single. Only available in the album. And they did a cover of Walk On Boy by Burt Bacharach.
Oh, you played at one of the music
It's a
nights.
brilliant cover.
Right.
Like it's really proggy.
I know the one. I
No
know.
keyboard
You
solo
played
in the
it.
middle.
You
Yeah,
played it.
it's brilliant.
Yeah, you
And
played
they-
that at the first one.
Do that, you know?
Yeah.
So that's my number 7 anyway. Stranglers, Walk On Boy.
Yeah, you played it.
I think it's a great
It is,
cover.
yeah.
Yeah, and
an unusual one. You wouldn't expect it, you know.
no, and
Yeah.
the keyboard work on that was actually superb, Kip, when you played it.
Yeah, it's a brilliant album, but like I said, that only came with the first, I don't know, 50 or 60,000 or something.
Very
So-
good, Kevin.
That's my number 7. Stranglers.
Yeah,
And
excellent.
my one is an unusual one as well. It's Judas Priest from a 12-inch, just kind of Lost to the Wind, Evening Star. It's not a great song. I picked it up in our favorite old 5-0 years ago. And it's a cover of Fleetwood Mac's Green Manalishi
oh yeah.
with the 2-prong crown. It's an amazing cover.
Yeah,
They also did Diamonds and Rust, I think, by what's your woman's name? Joan Baez.
Bias. Oh yeah. Yeah.
But this cover, if you ever get, so if you're, I know you don't stream her, and I don't know. I mean, the next time you ever remind me, and I'll put it on. But it's a brilliant cover of Fleetwood Mac by Judas Priest, and I think they did those songs. They were trying to break America, so they were trying to play songs that were well known. You know.
Right.
Oh, and is it a different than the original one?
It's heavier. It's more rock, more metal kind of.
Yeah.
But,
Oh, I
but
like
great,
that.
really, really good. Really
I've
good.
heard it from you.
Yeah, it was
Great.
like Kevin don't stream, sure. No,
Yeah.
no.
No, the only stream I know is the one runs down by the
That's
top of
what
the
we
valley.
thought it was. Yeah. That's what we know. Old fellas like us.
stream.
Anyway, my number 7 is from Wishbone Ash. Vastis.
Oh, their second album, Pilgrimage, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vastis. Kind of a jazzy number. I have it written down here. Jack McDuff.
Right.
Yeah, jazz fan from the 60s. And they played this in the studio, Paul. This is an interesting one. They were playing it in the studio, kind of just jamming away and playing this track. And they didn't realize Derek Lawrence, the producer, recorded it.
All right.
Yeah, because they were actually playing live in the studio. And when they actually heard it back, they said it was so good, they put it on the album.
Oh, so it's live. It's live.
It's
cut.
live. It's a live in the
A
studio.
live cut on the studio
Yeah,
album. Brilliant.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, it's a brilliant jazz piece. You
Yeah.
know, a lot of that kind of yodeling kind of vocals, you know, that kind of stuff, you know,
Scatting and stuff.
scatting and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Very similar to Focus.
Right.
You know, that kind of vocal.
Right.
Anyway, that's my number 7.
Right. Number 6 we're up to.
You are.
Number 6 for me is from this brilliant album. One of the great debut albums of all time.
Absolutely.
Van Halen.
Absolutely, yeah.
And their cover of The Kinks really got me.
Ah, yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, there's some cover, isn't there?
Well, you know, in my opinion, it's better than the original.
Yeah, I think
It
so.
is
as
better
well.
than the
It's
original. Yeah,
fantastic.
it's just the way it starts off with that guitar.
Yeah, and again, if you know, if you didn't know anything about it, you think it was their song. It's so well done.
Yeah. I remember years ago in town, we played a gig. I was at some party. I don't know what it was at. Talking about the karaoke. And a few of our friends used to have a joke band. They were like mods. They had a hat like the Blues Brothers. A bit like I'm dressed now. But they used to do versions of songs and they'd make up their own lyrics, you know. But there was always a few mods, we used to call them, would come along. And I remember they'd follow the lads. And there was some biker charity kind of a thing years ago in the Clayby or somewhere at that bar. And we played that song. But we all had long hair. We were playing the Van Halen version. And all the boys were down the front, all the mods doing their thing, you know. And we were
yeah.
And your man, I can't remember who was playing the guitar. I think it was, I don't know who it was. But he was doing trying to do the Van Halen stuff. And all the mods, all they heard was the Kinks. They didn't realize we were doing
Exactly.
The
Yeah.
Van Halen.
the Van Halen version. Yeah, it was funny.
So that's my number 6.
That's brilliant, Kevin. Brilliant.
Okay, so my one then would be Call Me the Breeze off of this classic.
Ah, yes.
Yeah,
JJK number.
JJK. They make that their own.
Live album, isn't it? That's the
The
live
live
album.
one. Skinner live album. Yeah.
That's
But
on
they-
their studio album, Paul, isn't it?
I think so. No. Is it?
Second.
I think it's on the second.
It's on the second, yeah.
Not on the first one. I think the first one is all originals.
Is it right?
I think so.
I know that's a
Anyway,
brilliant version. I know that.
Anyway,
But the version on
they
this-
put it on a studio album, is what I'm saying.
yeah, I'm not sure which one, but the version on this is astonishing.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah, it is brilliant.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah, I think it was your man Steve Gaines, the uncle they brought in, and Jesus, boy, he took it home, as they say.
Yeah.
That's my great track.
From a fantastic live album.
Oh,
Brilliant
fantastic.
live
Yeah,
album.
unreal.
Brilliant live album,
Unreal.
absolutely.
Great. Good pick.
Good pick, Paul. My number 6, Paul, is from Rush.
They didn't do many covers on their albums, did they?
No, but this was kind of a covery album, wasn't it?
Well, it's a tribute to all the stuff that
Did
influenced
we,
them. It's
and
a covers
the
album,
track
yeah.
actually I love on this is The Secret by The Who.
Oh, yeah, it's
Yeah,
brilliant.
Peter Townsend wrote it in 70, and it wasn't even on an album.
Is that right?
Yeah, it was a non-album single, they called
Mhm.
it. And the way they gave it some lash on this.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's a great version.
And a different version of it, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And that's what
Stuff.
they did with this album. Just you remember you were looking at that the last time, Paul?
Yeah.
It's it's an interesting album,
Yeah,
but that's a brilliant track.
great.
Great track originally by The Who anyway.
Yeah, but it's a great version too.
Great version of it.
Good
Now, lads,
album, that.
before we get into the top 5, I just want to thank all my returning subscribers and new subscribers. And if you really want to see any more like this, hit subscribe, subscribe, like it, and all that kind of stuff. And we'll have Paul and Kevin back again doing some more interesting videos.
Very good. So on to the top 5.
Top 5, Kevin.
Okay. Now I could have picked a lot of tracks from Rory Gallagher because he does some fantastic covers.
He does.
Usually fairly obscure, Paul, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
His tracks are,
There are a lot of old 20s and 30s blues. Yeah.
But on there, I could have got the big BBC box set that came out.
Oh, yeah, sure.
But I just show this because this is readily available. People can buy this for 10, 15 euro, whatever. But the second track on the first one, it's live in concert. It's called What in the World? It's a Muddy Waters track.
I don't know.
And the version he does of it is unbelievable.
I thought it was his.
What in the World? No. It's a cover version.
Brilliant.
It's
Well, that's that,
absolutely
Kevin.
amazing. BBC sessions.
Okay, I don't have that one actually.
Yeah.
Another one I have to get to, is it?
Yeah, so fantastic cover. One of the best I've ever heard. So it's really something else, that one.
Cool.
So that's my number 5.
That's
The great Rory.
well, he did a lot of covers. I was listening to some of his albums
He
yesterday.
did.
And
He'd have 1 or 2 on each of his studio
yeah,
albums,
he would.
sometimes.
sometimes by people that wouldn't have been relatively known.
That's what I was saying, yeah, the sort of obscure enough tracks.
Obscure enough tracks. And he
Well,
gives it-
I wonder, was he trying to introduce people to where he got his stuff from?
Oh, probably.
yeah.
Yeah, I have a feeling he was sorry.
Yeah, a lot of his covers are acoustic,
Yeah,
but this is electric,
right.
and it's electrifying. It's actually unbelievable. It's the
Yeah.
best version I've ever heard of it. So I had to throw that.
Well,
in
you
there.
know, like every time you see videos years ago, especially in the 70s with the acoustic stuff, he always explained where it came from and
yeah,
the roots of it. And, it was always like, you should listen to this. Like we'd say, check this out. He'd go, this is why, and then play it.
yeah, that's
Exactly.
right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but that's one well worth checking out.
okay,
Right.
Kevin. Yeah, that's brilliant, Kevin.
Yeah, so that's my number
Paul,
5.
you're number 5.
Is a song off of this Emilio Harris album. This is a classic album by her from 95. It's a song called Goodbye by Steve Earle. It's kind of slow and really that's kind of sad, but she does an amazing version of it. And the thing about this record is this is the album that shifted Robert Plant away from the rock thing and more into that rootsy stuff. And I went to see her at this time. My dogs are going mental out there.
I
I
can
can
hear
hear
it.
him, yeah.
We can hear it.
Yeah, somebody at the gate. Anyway, it's my backing vocals for the evening. But yeah. But what I remember going to see her with this original band, Daniel Lanois in Dublin, right? It's just astonishing. They had a rhythm section, it was unreal. But it's a lovely version of that song. And then a year or two after, she came again with a different band, and I saw Robert Plant up in the box in the Olympia Theatre in Dublin. Somehow we got into the after party, right? And because we had a bit of a band and we were messing around up there. Anyway, I was standing on my own waiting for the brother to come back, and I turned around and there's a fella standing looking at me, tall, long hair, and I went, you know the way you think you know someone? And I could see the face, and he was that close to me, like, and it was almost like we were on top of each other. And I was thinking in my head, but I said it out loud. Oh, Robert Plant. And he clinked me glass and he went, guilty as charged. And just slinked off into the night. Good luck, lads, or something. God.
Very unusual for you to be a bit starstruck.
I was shocked. Well, I was stunned because, in your face, you kind of, if you ever bump into someone famous or see him on the street or in the airport or something.
And it is Robert Plant.
And it was Robert Plant. And the thing is, you kind of know their faces so well, but you can't remember their name for a minute. And I thought, there's a really tall, older guy with long hair. Yeah. And then I went, it was so cool. He gets it all the time. Yeah. I'm sure he gets it all the time. But anyway,
I get it all the time. I wouldn't be familiar with that now, Paul. Would you, Kevin?
Wouldn't have a notion.
It's an unreal album because what it did was it changed. I won't say music, but it changed an approach to a certain kind of music in the mid-90s, where it got very experimental. And you like your prog music. Well, this kind of stuff here is a bit. It's not Tangerine Dreamland like that, but the soundscape's being created, and it's a really unusual thing that she did. She got a lot of flack for it. She got a lot of flack for it because
a bit of groundbreaking stuff.
Really, and she did 3 more like it after it. That she went off into another world for a while, and Plant then kind of stopped doing the rock thing, and he went into this other world for a while, and then he went off with his Shapeshifters. But he did the Alison Krauss, and he did all that other thing, and he's claimed that album, I think, is the one. That made him rethink what he was at. It's very interesting. Very interesting album. Brilliant album.
Next time we're out, Paul.
Yeah, I'll throw it on. There's a couple of nice tracks. They're very laid back now. It's not in your face, right? But if you like something a bit different, it's the way to go,
And I do like Steve Harris, so there you have it.
Well, there you go. There you go.
Now, my number 5 is Jethro Tull's Bourrée.
Oh, Bourrée, yeah.
Bourrée, exactly how you pronounce it. From Stand Up.
Brilliant.
Johann Sebastian Bach, isn't it?
Bach, yeah.
And this is brilliant. You're familiar with this, Paul, are you?
I have the album, yeah.
Yeah, and the small instrumental is brilliant.
It's great track.
And great flute on it, aren't they?
Oh, it's brilliant, yeah.
Anderson, so that's it. Bourrée, brilliant. Brilliant.
I don't have that fancy set now. I just have the old record.
Oh, yeah, and you can see.
Yeah, brilliant. It's amazing. I do have a couple of them, though. I did. After seeing you guys, I have to be careful going over to your house.
Yeah, but they're so good, these boxes. Kevin, always keep talking about them. Yeah. But even that little thing,
the detail
is brilliant. Yeah.
It's just
amazing.
It's just incredible.
Bourrée, that's a great pick, man.
Yeah, Kevin. So
we're up to 4 now.
4.
Right.
I didn't think we'd have these here now, but here we have.
Didn't you?
No, I didn't.
Surprising you.
I'm very surprised.
Right. The Mighty Zeppelin.
Shocked, actually.
The track I'm going to pick off of this is You Shook Me, the Willie Dixon cover.
Oh, that's an amazing track.
It's amazing. And it's also interesting that a couple of months before that came out, Jeff Beck's album Truth, they did a cover of it as well.
Yeah, yeah.
They had sort of tinkly piano in it and stuff. And I don't like it at all.
Yeah.
The guitar's all right, I suppose, but I wouldn't be mad about it.
That's amazing.
But compared to this version is almost like Page said, this is how you do this one, Jeff.
Yeah. There's a bit of competition there for sure.
More bombastic, it's everything, yeah.
The vocals on it.
The vocals on it. Yeah, well, there's nothing wrong with Rod Stewart, but I mean, it's just a totally different way of doing it. But that's what I'm picking for number 4 off Led Zeppelin's first album.
That's
a great cover.
That's a surprise.
Surprisingly.
Yeah. Shock. I'm in shock over here.
I know you're in shock. I know you are, Paul. So am I. I'm dumbfounded here. Your number 4, Paul,
is a brilliant old blues song. Baby, Please Don't Go Off with Ted Nugent's live called Double Live Gonzo.
Ah, Double Live Gonzo.
That's one of my favorite covers because he goes mental with it. It's a
brilliant
live album. He's an awful Egypt, in be honest. To be fair to this now, he's gone. He's just he drive you mad. I don't care. I'm one of these people that, if I like an artist or a painter or a musician, unless they're a complete Nazi or something, but he's just off the wall. But it doesn't get in the way of the fact that his mid-70s records are brilliant rock and rap. Brilliant rock albums. And his version, have you ever heard of Pat?
No, I haven't. How was the cover by originally? How was the track by originally?
Big Joe Williams, I think. I'm going to check that.
No, I have never heard of it. No. So
it goes back.
Is it?
Huh?
Probably
Big
back to the 40s or 50s.
1930s, mid-30s.
Wow, 30s. There you go.
But it's been covered by Van Morrison, Aerosmith did it, loads of bands have done it. There's a version by them, Van Morrison, back in 1963 or something, even maybe 2 or 4, I can't remember. fantastic version, but he takes it to the next level. He just
He does.
the guitar playing is just it's real.
I know that well. I have that album with years.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's my own one. Yeah.
Great, good pick.
Great pick.
All right.
Cool.
Cool.
My one now is probably one that you probably haven't heard, Kevin.
Right.
Paul probably has. It's Dan Reed Network, and the track.
I never heard it. No, I've never heard of that.
The track Money by Pink
Floyd off Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah.
All right.
And this is 1991. And when I heard this album, and I heard it Money, it's a totally funked up version.
Right.
You know, it's funky.
What sort of band? What music do they play now?
Oh, we had it on the other night. Remember?
You're kind of
Oh yeah.
rock.
It's kind of pop rock.
Right, that's the same. Yep.
Yeah, that kind of, yeah. I know they wouldn't be your cup of tea, the band themselves,
No.
but the version
Great
they do
version.
of Money is brilliant. It's not,
Right.
some bands go out and do exactly the same. I don't like that.
Yeah.
Put your stamp on it.
Yeah.
Good, bad, or indifferent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
The one worth listening to, Paul. Money
Right.
by, yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I'll check it out. Yeah.
I wouldn't know it now at all.
Dan Reed Network.
Right. So no doubt you'll play it for me after.
Yeah, underrated band.
Okay. Right. We're down to the 3.
No, down to the last 3.
That messed up any numbers tonight.
No, you're actually better than me.
Keep an eye on you.
Yeah, better than
That's
me.
it. Number 3 for me is I don't know if you've heard of this band now. It's a bit obscure.
I never heard.
Yeah.
Lizzie, Life and Dangerous, and their version of Bob Seger number Rosalie,
Oh,
Oh, yeah, unreal.
and that's another case of a band owning it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's much better. It's better than the original. Much better.
Yeah, it's fantastic,
Yeah.
and that had to be up there, number 3 for me. Tin Lizzy.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Because when I heard that track first, when we heard that album first, I actually thought it was their track.
Yeah.
Well, I would as well.
Yeah, I did.
But
also.
I think that Bob Seger even himself said, "Lads, it's yours," you know.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and of course, one of the all-time great live albums.
Yeah. But you know what's interesting? When they do it on the studio album, it's all right.
It's only all right. Yeah.
Good. When they play
Power
it,
of the live stuff.
Yeah, it has a bit
More balls
more.
live.
Oh, that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
but
So,
yeah, it kind of explodes, you know.
It's brilliant. Brilliant.
Fantastic.
That's my number 3.
So my number 3 is Hush from these lads, your friends.
Deep Purple.
And that album was bought, according to me, writing on my albums as I did when I was 15. This was bought on the 24th of November 1979.
There you go.
That was my first Deep Purple album because I couldn't get hands on the ones that we had been listening to.
In rock
And
and
And they had, I got them in the early 80s. But this is all they had, again, in our favourite little 5-0 that's long gone. So Hush, the Joe Stout song by Deep Purple.
Brilliant. Again, they owned it too, didn't they? They made a great.
Yeah.
And that's with Rod Evans singing it.
Yeah.
That one. Of course, they did it afterwards.
I don't really like. Gillan did Hallelujah, didn't he? That's on it as well.
He did that as well. He did Hush as well.
Did he? But he did. But
He did
but
on,
this version though.
Yeah, but he did Hush as a studio on an album in the 90s.
Oh, did he?
He did, yeah. And his version of it.
Oh.
And it's not bad either, like, you know what I mean?
I'm not a huge fan of the Mark 1 Deep Purple before Gillan, but there's a few songs on that Emiretta I kind of like, and I like Hush, and there's a, like you can see why they're the singles, you know.
Yeah, a couple of great tracks,
Yeah.
yeah.
But that single that broke him in America. That did very well for them.
It did, and when they, I think
it went very high on the chart.
it did, and I think what happened to them was when they went over to America, they realized with the lineup they had, they couldn't progress because
That's right. They were caught stuck in a rut.
they were leaning too much into the pop thing, and I think your man Evans, he wasn't really. They wanted to go down the Zeppelin heavy rock road.
Exactly.
He wasn't really up for it.
He wanted to be a movie star, actually. That's what he wanted to be.
Right. He disappeared for a long time, didn't he?
He did. He was in another band. I can't think of the name of him now.
But I think wasn't there a lawsuit? Didn't he go off and play like later Deep Purple songs and everything on tour?
He did, yeah. And that's right. He played them in Russia, believe it or not, in Moscow.
Jesus.
And they were sued and blah, blah, blah.
Oh.
Yeah. So I believe, anyway.
Right.
Right, that's brilliant, Paul. The old Deep Purple, huh?
Yeah, nice one.
My number 3 is track Stepping Out, instrumental track off John Mayall's album,
The Beano album.
the Beano album.
Oh, yeah.
And it's by Memphis Slim originally
Right.
from 1959. And I think it's a brilliant instrumental. It showcases how good Eric Clapton,
Oh, yeah, fantastic.
guitarist.
He was only 19 on that.
Imagine that.
And I think he was the first person in Britain to team up with Gibson with a Marshall amp.
All right.
So I
He
think
had that
Clapton
sound,
pioneered that.
like
Yeah.
I think some of his best guitar work ever is on this album.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's a
Yeah.
fantastic album.
You know what?
It's
Yeah,
the
but
best
he didn't-
album.
Yes, it is.
He had about 90 albums. That's the best one, I think.
It's probably
Well,
the best.
I like the one. I don't know if I have the Mick Taylor one, but I have the one that he did Hard Road with Peter Green after that.
That's
Oh
good.
yeah, that as well. That's good.
That's
album.
good. I haven't heard the one because he, like your man, what's his name again? John Mayall. He went through a string of guitar players that became huge later on.
Yes.
That's
Didn't
right.
he?
He had, yeah, the first three were Clapton,
Green,
Green, and then Mick Taylor's on
Mick
as well.
Taylor. Mick Taylor was only a kid as well. Like they were all 18, 19 when he got hold of him, you know.
And they learned an awful lot from him because he was a lot older and he was
Yeah.
on the road.
Yeah.
You know, but that's a brilliant.
Yeah.
But the thing about Eric Clapton for me is like I wouldn't be a huge fan in the 70s, but up to about 71, what an amazing 6-year run. If you think about Cream, that, and then he went off and played with Delaney and Bonnie, and it was the roots of what we now call Americana, like the band and all these bands that were taking country and folk and rock and slapping it together. And he played guitar with them. Then he formed Derek and the Dominoes. He played with them. It's an amazing 6-year run, like, you know.
It's a pity he never reached those heights again. Did he?
I have a bit of a theory about this, right? Because you know I try to do a bit of music myself. A lot of it for me is down to partnerships. Page and Plant, Jagger and Richards, McCartney and Lennon. You know, even the Oasis brothers, for whatever they are, and more recently, you know, there's always one or two people to bounce off. I just always felt maybe Clapton and a couple of fellas like him. Jeff Beck maybe had the same problem. If he had found a great partner.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that could be true. Yeah.
Possible, but they're on their own.
Yeah, because when they're on their own, they tend to maybe they meander a bit.
Then again, Gallagher was on his own. Look what he did.
Yeah, but he's a whole. But the thing about Gallagher for me was, and maybe I'm biased because we're all Irish, but I think we have a kind of a, I don't know, get up and go sometimes, and I think Gallagher just his work ethic and his attitude, and he had a lot to prove. Don't forget, he came from working class Cork up to Belfast. Hard old, you know. Not saying Clapton, like I know Clapton had his own issues when he was younger and all that, but you know, maybe with Gallagher he was just more of a determined guy. And the Clapton he got into drugs and everything, didn't he?
Yeah, whereas Rory was more focused. It was just
yeah, and he wasn't out of his mind on drugs and whatever.
No, he was
being famous.
Ian Anderson out of Jethro Tull, he was totally anti-drug.
Yeah, but he wasn't also chasing the Hollywood dream. He wasn't wanting to be superstar.
Yeah, that's right.
That's interesting about Clapton, all right.
Yeah.
Right.
What are we up to?
Number 2.
Me?
Yeah, no, you next, yeah.
Number two, yeah.
Number 2 for me is from this album.
Right.
Santana Moonflower. Black Magic Woman.
Oh yeah.
With Mac track.
Peter Green track. And I think they did it on Abraxas, the second album.
They did.
But the live version on that is just stunning. And it's so good that, again, if you weren't clued into music, you'd swear it was a Santana track.
Do you think it was their track?
Because the guitar playing and the rhythm of it and everything.
When I first heard it,
yeah, they do.
I thought it was Santana. When we first heard that, probably around again 1980, 81, starting to discover albums, I always thought that's from 78, is it?
77, but
77.
my brother Pat bought that in 78, so it's been in the house a long time.
Yeah, well, that's where I would have heard it, but I thought that was a Santana song.
Well, I would have myself until we got to know. But I think as a cover version, that's amazing.
Oh, it's an incredible track.
Like they're all a great cover version, but that he owns it again, you know.
That's samba.
And on that album, there is another cover. I was thinking between the two, the Zombies, She's Not There, Paul.
Oh yeah, that's brilliant as well. Yeah,
it's fantastic as well. But in the end, I went for Black Magic Woman because it's something else. And especially with all that Latin percussion and everything.
And the way they incorporated live there into the next track.
It flows in.
Flows. That's why you think it's their track.
That's right. It's a phenomenal cover version, I think. So that's why it's at number 2 for me.
Okay, brilliant, Kevin.
My number 2 is this album I got recently. It's Lucinda Williams covering the Beatles. I played at one of our nights.
You did play it over here. And I thought it was excellent, actually.
It's great sounding, yeah. I've got a feeling, and I know somebody who's on this. It's a friend of mine. She sang on one or two things for me, and she is working with Lucinda Williams now in Nashville, and she does the backing vocals. That was recorded live in Abbey Road last year, or maybe the year before. And it was mad. She sent me this photograph. Guess where I am? And they're in the main room where the Beatles used to do it, and they were set up. And her husband is Ray Kennedy, the well-known producer, Steve Earle, and all that. And they had it booked. I think they did it in a week. But what a great album! And I'm not a huge Beatles fan, but it's interesting for me. I'm like same maybe with Bob Dylan. I like the songs when somebody else does them.
Yes.
And whatever feeling she's put into this album is great. But that I've got a feeling by that is well worth listening. And the video is really cool. It's online there. It's great.
Yeah, good stuff.
She put a different slant on it, didn't she?
Yeah, kind of. It's slipping into that rootsy. I don't like that. I don't like that term Americana. Everybody seems to use now, but it's like it's like country feel, but not really. There's something else going on in there. It's really good.
Brilliant.
And an interesting little point. The guitar player that went into the Black Crowes from the second album to about the fifth album, he's the guitarist on it.
Yeah.
So he's in her band.
And very well produced, actually. Was that done
Brilliant.
on Abbey Road?
All done Abbey Road. Yeah.
Abbey Road, yeah.
Right.
Brilliant.
Good stuff.
Right,
Great.
my number
Great
two.
album.
We couldn't go astray without having a real prog band on, as I say. This is from this compilation by Yes.
Yes, songs, is it?
Yes, song.
Yesterdays.
Yesterday's. Released in 75. And the track is America by Simon and Garfunkel.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And their 10-minute version of it, their prog version of it.
Right.
Did they do that around the time of Close to the Edge? Isn't that on the
No,
extras of Close to the Edge? Or
No, they recorded 1970 when Steve Howe just joined the
the
band.
Yes album.
Yeah, it was done on
It's on extras on one of them CDs, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's done on those. And
Gotcha.
it's the first time that was released as the full version,
Oh,
over 10 minutes.
well, what else would you expect?
Yeah.
Prog, it'd have to be at least 10 minutes, Paul, wouldn't it?
At least.
Yeah, and I remember reading that about this track. They were going mad that it wasn't really out, and that's why they put it on this. And also, when Chris Square met Garfunkel in the early 80s, and he asked him what did he think of it, he thought it was a brilliant version of it.
Oh, right.
Now, he didn't write it. It was Paul Simon who wrote the original track.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And, but I think it's a brilliant,
Great.
It's just progged up. You know, typical Yes, what they do
Oh, yeah.
in 1970. Yeah. That's my number two, anyway,
Great.
America.
Okay, we're down to the last one.
That's the last one.
All right. Number one for me is the best cover version I've ever heard.
You think this is the best now in you? Yeah.
Yeah, in my opinion, the best is Jimi Hendrix.
I know what you're going to tell me.
All Along the Watchtower.
Yeah, by Bob Dylan. Yeah.
Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
This is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Even Bob Dylan admitted that Hendrix, he owned it.
So he owned it, yeah.
And I think of all the covers, that to me is the best version. All Along the Watchtower. There's not a lot of, what can I say about it?
You can't. Brilliant.
It's fantastic.
Absolutely
But
brilliant.
isn't there some kind of a story again with these things where it was barely out by Bob Dylan and he heard it and went off and did it? Is that the?
Yeah. No, that was Sgt. Pepper's he did.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, he did. Sgt. Pepper's The Only Band was out a couple of days.
Oh, is that what it was?
At a concert, and I think George Harrison and Paul McCartney were in the front row.
Right.
I wasn't expecting it because Hendrix was like
okay.
Murray Gallagher. He didn't have any set lists.
Right.
He just played.
Yeah.
So the other two behind him had to know what was happening.
Yeah.
Had to watch him. Rory Gallagher never used set lists.
Okay.
Or Hendrix. And he just launched into Sgt. Pepper's. That's the one maybe that you're thinking of.
Oh, right. Okay.
It is brilliant. Brilliant.
But anyway, my number one, All Along the Watchtower.
My number one, I don't know if it's my favorite, but it probably is one, especially when they do it on the whistle test, is when Gary Moore did his own version of Don't Believe a Word.
Oh, brilliant.
Back on the street. It's the slow version of it.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Oh, yeah. It's slow, but it's
and there's a clip online where they did it on a whistle test, I think in 78 or 79, with Cozy Powell and playing drums.
Yeah.
And Scott Gorham was there, Gary Moore to fill in it. It's a fantastic version of that song.
Brilliant.
So different to the original.
It is. It's a great album.
Much slower, actually, and it's just.
Yeah.
But then it builds up and they kind of speed it up. But they have it's bluesy at the end. It doesn't go into the
guitar.
But that's a brilliant album, that.
Oh yeah, it's your Parisian Walkways. It's a brilliant record, yeah.
And I had a track featured in one of Pat's videos a while ago off it as well.
Yeah.
There's a sort of a jazz fusion track on it.
Oh yeah, I
remember that on one of the sides.
Side one, the name is left me. But anyway.
What was
it? Good stuff.
Hang on. What was the
last track, side one?
First song.
Last track.
Oh, Flight of the Snow Moose.
That's it.
That's the one. That's
brilliant number. But no, good pick. Good pick. Excellent.
That's me done. Now, Pat, what's it? You're closing it off.
That's my favorite cover track from any band.
Oh,
fucking hell, I knew you'd do it.
I guessed it.
Anyway, no, it's Fanfare for the Common Man by Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Oh, right, yes.
Now, like, just to say again, I thought that was theirs. Who did that before?
Aaron Copland, 1942.
Right.
You didn't know that. That's interesting.
No.
Yeah.
He didn't know something.
Now,
No.
This man knows everything
Aaron
about
Copland.
music.
Yeah. I don't know anything about prog. Hands up.
Yeah. But he wrote the track for the Cincinnati Orchestra.
Oh,
All right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And they, of course, everyone thinks it's theirs.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I did.
But
Yeah.
what a track.
What a great
And
number.
this is the extended versions on this.
Oh, it goes
album.
on for half the side of the album, does it?
Yeah, well, half the side of the album.
Half
yeah,
the
side of the album, yeah. And it's brilliant.
Yeah, it
Brilliant.
is. Fantastic, yeah.
It brings this album up to classy level, like, you know.
Yeah,
Works,
right.
that's Works Volume 1 by Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
brilliant.
So you didn't know that, Paul, about that?
No, I didn't.
Interesting.
No.
Ah,
I have to sing that. I sang it many years ago,
yeah.
but it's only shortened down to about 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. That's what I remember. Because wasn't there a video for it as well?
That's right, yeah. Something to do with the Olympics as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, they've
Yeah,
used
yeah.
things.
Winter
I mean,
Olympics, I think.
I wouldn't know much about them, but I remember that all right. I remember that track. And when we did the cover design one, you showed me, what's the other one? Brain Salad Surgery, is it?
Brain Salad Surgery, yeah.
So I remember, I think I had that album years ago, and I sold it on because it wasn't my cup of tea, but I like the fanfare for Common Man. It's brilliant. So.
It is a brilliant, and that is brilliant because they really go off into.
That's a great
Right.
cover. Good pick.
Oh, brilliant! I love that track. I love
Good
that
pick.
track. That was a great idea, yours, Paul.
Very
Well,
good.
it came from me not understanding your text. I was like, what's he mean?
I know that, but a lot of people don't understand my texts. I
I
can't
know,
spell.
yeah.
That was ever. I can't spell. Well, anyway, that was great. What do you think of that, Kevin?
Excellent. Enjoy that. Some unusual
Yeah, unusual covers
stuff
there.
in there, yeah.
Yeah.
Unusual
Look, you know,
covers.
though, as we were saying, in some of the other ones I've done and you've done as well, you could pick 1,000. I mean, I could have picked a lot more, but they go off into other stuff. I didn't want to. There's a couple in there for me that are not in the rock world, but you know, there is so many ways you can go with covers and all the rest of it. You know,
There's loads of them.
yeah. And I just think, you know, what are the ones that you want? Like, I play that 10 that I picked there. I would actually play them quite regular.
I play those quite
Yeah,
regularly.
I've been the same with them, most of them.
So
yeah,
when I narrowed it down, I just basically picked the 10 favorite ones.
exactly.
Yeah, that's what I do.
I will stand by All Along the Watchtower. I think it's probably on the
Oh, it's
greatest
brilliant,
covers of all
you
time.
know, it all
And I
depends
tell
what
you now, right, and it'll go on record because it's on video. That song "Goodbye" by Emily Harris. That's what I want played at my funeral, right?
Okay.
And when everybody is crying, and the song comes to an end, and whatever they do with me, I don't care. But the doors will be locked, and the first opening chords of Black Sabbath, the song will come on, and all you hear is, "What is this that stands before me?" And no one is let out, and you have to stand and listen to that and go, "Okay, fine."
Fair enough.
Lovely. Lovely. Brilliant.
It's
Anyway.
on record.
It's on record.
On record. Paul, thanks very much for coming on the
bother.
show. And Kevin, as always.
Thanks,
as
Pat.
well.
Good crack.
And
Bye.
I just want to say before I go, if you like this video, do subscribe. And it's nice to be nice, Kevin.
Nice to be nice. Cost
Oh.
nothing, Pat.
Always nice to be nice. And whatever you're doing, stay safe. As my good friend Stan always said, Kevin.
Well, what's he always say?
I always say, Paul, he always says this. Music has the ability to make you forget and remember. And it is so brilliant because you could be having a bad day, Paul.
Yeah.
And you throw on, say, Sabbath or whatever.
Yeah, get lost in the
You
moment.
get lost in the music.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And then vinyl will make you poor.
Yes, especially
But
Japanese.
you'll be
vinyl.
happy. You'll be happy. Yeah, well, you'll be happy though.
Japanese vinyl, which is the ultras.
That's your disease now for the moment.
I know it's my disease.
That's his
at the moment.
affliction.
Is it?
But anyway, until the next time here on
Addiction and affliction.
Until the next time here on Close to the Edge, from Kevin, Paul, and myself, goodbye, and we'll see you again very
All
soon.
the best.
Okay.
Good luck.